Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. Welcome. It is a Monday, and we are excited because the World Cup Semifinals are officially set. We'll be talking about those matchups here in just a second and taking a look back at the history between the four remaining teams. But first, if you're new here, welcome to Fan Talk. Fan Talk is a podcast that is by the fans, for the fans. We do everything that a fan wants to do, and here's a sign, the posters, we are ready to go. Fan Talk's a podcast that you can find anywhere you get your podcast. If you like the video versions, check out YouTube and Spotify. Leave a like if you're watching on YouTube. Consider subscribing as well. All right, guys, it has been a fantastic World Cup. We are down to the final 4 matches. 100 matches of the FIFA World Cup have been played and only 4 remain. Can you believe that? The biggest World Cup ever, held in the United States of America, in Canada, in Mexico, and we are down to the final 4. And the final 4 teams are frankly the best, the top, the most experienced in the tournament. So it should be no surprise that these 4 teams are the 4 teams left standing. Let's do a quick recap. Last episode, we talked about the quarterfinals. Of course, France took care of Morocco. Spain took care of Belgium. England and Norway played an absolute thriller. And then Argentina pulled away very, very late to beat Switzerland. And those are your final 4 teams left. France, Spain, facing off tomorrow. I'm filming this episode on Monday the 13th. Tomorrow, July 14th, Spain and France will face off for a spot in the FIFA World Cup final. England and Argentina is the other game. These are the best 4 teams. We've determined that. Losers of these games goes on to the third place match, will be played in Florida, Miami, and then the winner will be playing in New Jersey there July 19th on Sunday. Who is going through? Let's take a quick look at each of these matchups and look at the history and look at the rivalry that exists between these 2 teams. Let's start with France and Spain. When I was doing some research on France and Spain, obviously these are 2 European powerhouses, not even just in football, but if you look back in European history, in world history, these are 2 of the biggest powerhouse nations in the entire world. You think about European history, and Spain and France conquered and dominated a lot of that area before the other nations popped up. You think about the colonial period. You think about Spain and France going to not just North America, but South America, even Africa, parts of Asia. These are nations that had the ability to influence the world. These are big time nations, and they're very good at the sport of football, at the sport of soccer. They've played quite a bit throughout the years. Most recently, they played in the UEFA Nations League semifinal in a 9-goal thriller. Go watch those highlights on YouTube. Absolutely barn burner of a soccer match. 9 goals scored between the 2 nations. This was last year in the UEFA Nations League semifinal. They played in the Euro knockout stage, where Spain got the better of them. France got the better of them in the 2021 UEFA Nations League. So they've played quite a bit throughout history. Now, of course, that's just recent history. It goes back way back to 1984 was their first official match in the 1984 Euro final, which France won 2-0 there in Paris. So these 2 teams have met quite a bit. Spain has won 18 times. France has won 13 times. They've drawn 7 times. Largest victory goes to Spain. They won 8-1 in an international friendly back in 1929. And like I mentioned earlier, the most recent outing, Spain wins 5-4 in the UEFA Nations League finals. I think these are the 2 best teams. I think France is number 1. I think Spain is number 2. And this very well could be the final. Both these matches could honestly be the final. Honestly, any of these 4 matches that are left, the 2 semifinals, the third place, and the final game, all of them have the potential to bring fireworks and to be fantastic. Spain is currently the underdog if we were to go by betting lines. France is favored to win. France, of course, won it in 2018. They were the runners-up in 2022. I think they're the best team in this tournament, ranked number one. But Spain with Lamine Yamal, kid's 18 years old, I believe. Maybe he's 19 years old. And he's one of the best footballers, not just right now, but in all of Spain's history. They're already saying that. Spain's been around a long time. They're already saying this 18-year-old kid's one of the best footballers that they've seen. He's going up against Kylian Mbappe. Of course, we have to mention Kylian Mbappe. He's in the race for the Golden Boot. The Golden Boot is the reward given to the player who scores the most goals during the FIFA World Cup tournament. So Kylian Mbappe is currently up there with Lionel Messi, and so he definitely wants to win that. He wants to win the tournament, of course, but the Golden Boot would be a nice addition to that. That game, again, tomorrow, July 14th, 1 p.m., should be fantastic. My pick, I'm going to go with France in this one. I think France gets their revenge. As I mentioned earlier, it looks like Spain has won the last two times in the UEFA Nations and UEFA Euro. But I'm leaning towards France in this one. Let me know down below what you guys think. Let's move to Argentina and England. Now, Argentina is actually the underdogs in this one. They've cut through this tournament. They've won by the skin of their teeth. They've won in amazing fashion. England's looked the best that they've looked that I've seen, in recent years. England is favored in this one. England, I think, is ranked fourth and Argentina third. If I remember FIFA standings, I think FIFA rankings were France 1, Spain 2, Argentina 3, England 4. So this should be a fun matchup there. I was looking back at the history between Argentina and England, and they haven't played a lot recently. Actually, the last time that they played was in 2005. So it's been 21 years since they played, and it was just an international friendly. Wayne Rooney scored in that game. They faced off in the 2022 World Cup where England won 1-0. But before then, it's been quite a few years. They did kind of have a few run-ins in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. I think the most notable one was the 1986 World Cup. If you remember, that was in Mexico City. Argentina and England faced off. And if you remember, there's a guy named Diego Maradona, one of the best Argentine footballers. Him and Lionel Messi are probably the two best Argentine football players, right? So Diego Maradona had this goal where it looked like he kind of punched it in with his hand. They call it the hand of God goal. And this was 1986. They didn't have VAR. They didn't have all these replays. They had the referee on the field, and then they had the two side judges, and neither of them could see that it was a handball. So if you don't see it, you can't call it. That's how it was back in 1986. And so if you go watch the video on YouTube, you can clearly see Diego Maradona. He's going for the header, but his hand gets in the way, and he kind of just like punches the ball into the net and scores. He ends up scoring another goal, and Argentina goes on to win. So if I was an Englishman, I would still be losing sleep over that goal, over that hand of God goal by Maradona that was not called all those years ago. Argentina, England. I think this game, it's hard for me to say that this game will be more exciting or that I'm more excited for this game than France, Spain, because I think France, Spain will just be absolute fireworks. But this England team is the best that I've seen in recent years. This Argentina team is just finding ways to win. They have the best player in the world. Both of these semifinal games should be absolutely amazing. Comment down below if you're watching on YouTube what your picks are, what two teams are going to advance to the finals, which two teams to the third place match. I'm super excited. Again, my pick, I think it's going to be France and England. I'm picking England with a little bit of an upset, even though that they are currently the favorites over Argentina. So maybe not quite the upset. England, France in the final should be super fun. Again, the finals next Sunday. Follow my Instagram page, Fan Talk Podcast, for my official pick after the semifinals play out. But comment your pick down below. Follow the Fan Talk Podcast on Instagram, Fan Talk Podcast. I'll link it down in the description below. All right, guys, before we head out, this will be a shorter episode. I want to give a little shout out to some tennis. Give some tennis some love. I know we were trying to cover it a little bit last week, but with the World Cup going on, it's quite hard to really give Wimbledon the respect that it deserves. Semifinals, Coco Gauff was the last American woman in the Wimbledon women's singles bracket, she lost to Machova, and Machova went on to play Lara Noskova, and Lara Noskova won it in 3 sets over her fellow nation woman, and the Czech Republic woman has her first Grand Slam title. On the men's side, it was a little more expected. Like the women's side, it was the 9 and 10 girl. On the men's side, it was 1 versus 2. Jannik Sinner, number 1 in the world, of course, and then Alexander Zverev for Germany, who had just come off winning the Roland Garros French Open. They went to 4 sets, but Jannik Sinner eventually got the best of Zverev, and Jannik Sinner wins again. Of course, Carlos Alcaraz out with an injury, so Jannik Sinner is the man. Nobody can seem to knock him off. We'll see with the U.S. Open is the next tournament coming up. But there's a little tennis for you. Guys, go watch some World Cup. Go do some good in the world. Go bless somebody's life. Go be an inspiration. It's just such a good time to be alive. Again, guys, if you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, please leave a review or a like. I really appreciate it. Again, Fan Talks podcast you can find anywhere you get your podcasts. I'll see you guys next week for another edition of Fan Talk.